Hello everyone. In this session, let me start with the new concept called Cantor ternary set. Cantor's ternary set. This concept has been asked in the year 2017 and 2019. So it is important. So as the name itself suggests, when I said binary, it represents zeros and ones. Similarly, when I said ternary number, it represents 3 digits. That is 0, 1, 2. The concept behind this is Cantor ternary set is none other than we are going to divide an interval, closed interval 0, 1 into 3 parts. Ternary in the sense 3 parts, and we are keep on removing the middle portion. Let me explain. Suppose if I have an interval 0 to 1 here. So this is initial step. Fine. Now what I have to do is I have to divide it into 3 portions. So please listen first step carefully. Rest of the steps will be followed as it is. I am not going to do it for each and every step. So it is understood for all the steps. For all the steps it is same procedure. Now what I am going to do is 0 to 1 I have to divide it into 3 portions, right? So what I am going to do is I will add these two and divide it with 3. So I'll get 1 by 3. So I mark here. Fine. I have divided into 2 now. Again I have to divide it into 3 portions, right? So now what I'm going to do is I am dividing 1 by 3 and 1, these two into 2 parts, so that I'll get entire 3 portions. So 1 by 3 and 1 into 2 parts, so let me divide it with 2. So you will get 1 by 3 plus 3 is LCM, right? Plus 3 divided by 2. So you will get 4 by 3 into 1 by 2. 2 ones are 2 twos are. So I have obtained it as 2 by 3. So I'll mark here. Clear? What I have done is I have divided the interval 0 to 1 into 3 partition. That is what the meaning of ternary is. Now what actually the Cantor ternary set says is we are going to remove the middle portion. That is 1 by 3 and 2 by 3 is a open interval in the closed interval 0, 1. 0, 1 is closed interval. 1 by 3 and 2 by 3 is open interval which is inside the closed interval 0 and 1. So I am going to remove this open interval. So I have obtained Cantor ternary set C1. I am going to take this as C1 as closed interval 0, 1 by 3. Since when I am talk about open interval, the end values will not be included in that. So when I talk about closed interval, it will be included. So I am removing open interval here except the end points. So that is the reason 1 by 3 left out as it is. Now this portion will goes off. So left with 2 by 3 and 1. So I have obtained Cantor ternary set 1 by taking union of these two closed interval. Clear? What I did is I have divided the interval into 3 portions and I have removed the middle portion, that is middle open interval, so as to get union of 2 closed interval. Let me take that as C1 and the procedure continues. Like I have obtained right now what I have is 0, 1 by 3 and 2 by 3, 1. Fine. Now I am doing the same procedure. I am going to divide it into 3 portions just using the same procedure that I have done right now. So I'll get 1 by 9 here, 2 by 9 here. Again 7 by 9, 8 by 9. If you want you can calculate 0 plus 1 by 3 divided by 3 will give us 1 by 9. Again 1 by 9 plus 1 by 3 divided by 2 will give us 2 by 9. So same procedure I have applied. Now apply the same procedure. Like I have to remove the middle open interval. I am going to remove this and remove this. So what you are going to get is C2 as union of the closed interval 0, 1 by 9 and 2 by 9, 1 by 3. Again here closed interval 2 by 3, 7 by 9 and 8 by 9, 1. Fine. If you are going to take union of all these 4 intervals, you will get C2. So meaning is that in each case you are going to get an interval of length 2 power of n. Here in this particular C1 case n is 1. So I have obtained 2 closed interval, union of 2 closed interval. So in the second case when I am going to divide, I am going to get 2 power of 2. Right? 2 power of 2 is 4. So union of 4 closed interval. Now coming to the length of this Cantor ternary set is 1 by length is none other than difference of the end point. So 1 by 3 minus 0 is 1 by 3. So this length of C1 is 1 by 3. So length of C2 is same, it is 1 by 3 square. Right? 1 by 9 minus 0 is 1 by 9. So 1 by 9 can be written as 3 square. Fine. So when you continue the same process, you will get length of any Cantor ternary set is 1 by 3 power of n with subintervals as 2 power of n. You can clearly see here. In case of C1, I have obtained 2 closed intervals. So that is the reason I have mentioned 2 power of 1 here. In second case, I have obtained 2 power of 2. That is 4 subintervals or else 4 closed interval I have obtained. So similarly, when you keep on continuing the process like 0 to 1 by 9 I have obtained. So I have to divide this into 3 parts. Again, removing the middle part, I'll get one more closed interval. So something like that, you have to continue the same process. Fine. So after doing infinite number of steps, you're going to get n number of Cantor ternary sets, right? So I can define my Cantor ternary set as, let me represent it with C. So I can define C as intersection of all those Cn's. Remember, I'm repeating once again. C1 is by dividing 0, 1 closed interval into 3 parts and removing the middle part, I have obtained 2 intervals. Similarly, the obtained intervals is again divided into 3 parts. I am going to get 2 intervals for each. So as to get in C2, I have obtained 4 intervals. So when you do that for infinite number, and when I am going to combine all those intervals, closed intervals, without repeating. So when I said without repeating, it is the common. So that is why I have taken intersection here. So Cantor ternary set is none other than intersection of all those closed intervals. Fine. So that is called as Cantor ternary set. So I can write in this particular case, I can write C2 as union of all these things. Fine. So original Cantor ternary set C will be union of all these elements, or else I can say intersection. Why? Because you should not repeat any of the interval. So when I said it is not repeating, meaning is I have to take the common elements, or else I can say intersection of all these elements or a closed interval. So that is what the meaning of Cantor ternary set is. Now, next moving for the next concept. So remember, for every, you can look at example here. So we are not going to get in between 0 and 1 by 3, we are not going to get 1. Right? Why? Because 1 is the peak value. Fine. Similarly, in between 0 and 1 by 9, we are not going to get 1. Again, in between 2 by 9 and 1 by 9, we are not going to get 1. Again, 2 by 3, 7 by 9, we are not going to get 1. Again, 8 by 9, in between 1, we are not going to get a number 1. Remember, whatever may be the values in between the particular interval, like 0 to 1 by 3, I'll take. So, every number between 0 and 1 by 3 will be in between 0.022. Fine. In further studies, you will come to know this. 1 by 3 is none other than 0.333. Right? That is in usual decimal representation. Whereas in ternary representation, ternary set represents 3 numbers. So 1 by 3 value is 0.022 in ternary representation. Fine. So if you want, I'll do this concept separately, but it is not in your syllabus. So ternary representation is for 1 by 3 is 0.022. So in between 0 and 1 by 3, all the values will not exceed 0.022. Why? Because 1 by 3 representation is 0.022. Fine. So this is what the ternary representation is. Now, basically, when I have decimal numbers, something like 0.98765432 how you are going to convert it into decimal? Usual method is that I have to start with the peakmost number, or else first number I have to divide it with 10. Again, next number divide it with 10 square, plus 7 by 10 cube, plus 6 by 10 power 4, plus 5 by 10 power of 5, plus 4 by 10 power of 6, plus 2 by 10 power of 7, plus 1 by 10 power of 8. So when you're going to simplify this, you will get a number which is in decimal. Right? So this is what the usual procedure is. Or else I can write, suppose if I have n number of elements or numbers, I can write this as n is equal to 1 to infinity an by 10 power of n. It is a general expression. Right? So I can represent this number as n is equal to 1 to infinity an by 10 power of n. This number can be represented like this. But this expression is not unique. Why? Because any number in between a closed interval 0, 1 can be expressed in its unique form. So as I already said, the length of each interval is 1 by 3 power of n. Again it is 1 by 3 square. So when you continue, length of n interval will be 1 by 3 power of n. So I can represent any decimal number in its standard form, n is equal to 1 to infinity an by 3 power of n. This is the standard expression for Cantor's ternary set. Cantor ternary set. And remember, here the values of an is always 0 and 2, but it will not take 1. Why? Because as I said, ternary represents 0, 1, 2. It is a set of 3 numbers. So when we keep on dividing as per the concept of Cantor ternary set, what happens is we are going to remove the middle portion, right? It is something like left number, right number and middle number, right? When you are going to remove the middle portion, you are not going to get 1 here. Fine. So you can look at the expression here. In between any of this interval, you are not going to get 1. Of course, you are not going to get 2 also. But as per the standard representation, leftmost number represents 0. Rightmost number represents 2. Middle number represents 1. So as per the definition, we are going to remove this as per the definition of Cantor ternary set. So that is the reason 1 will not be there. While taking an values, you are going to take 0 and 2. Fine. Now, next is we have to prove that since binary representation, or else I can say decimal representation, is not unique. Why? Because this can be expressed in terms of interval 3 power of n as per the definition of Cantor ternary set. Fine. Now, we have to prove that this expression is unique. Meaning is, in closed interval 0 and 1, whatever may be the values, decimal values comes, that can be expressed in the standard representation an by 3 power of n. And this is unique. Now let me prove whether it is unique or not. Now I am writing the same expression here. X is equal to summation n is equal to 1 to infinity an by 3 power of n, where an is equal to 0, 2. We have to prove that it is unique. In the sense, we cannot have one more expression for representing any decimal number in between the closed interval 0 and 1. Now let me do that. Suppose, if possible, I'll prove this by contradiction method. Fine. If possible, let me take one more expression. Say, I have n is equal to 1 to infinity an by 3 power of n. Again, n is equal to 1 to infinity, let me take bn by 3 power of n, where an is 0 to bn is 0 to, as I already said, 1 will not be there. Now, meaning is that I have to prove this is unique. In the sense, if there exists one more expression, say bn instead of an, that should be same as an. That is the meaning of uniqueness. I am repeating once again. In order to prove this is unique, let me take one more variable bn in such a way that if it is enough to show they are equal, right? So if an is equal to bn by 3 power of n, it is unique. Fine. Now I am proving it by contradiction method. Suppose they are not equal. Let me take an is not equal to bn. Meaning is they are different from one another. Fine. Now if that was the case, I can rewrite this expression as an. I am shifting this number, so obviously it is positive. Let me take an by bn 3 power of n is equal to 0. I can write. Fine. Now I am proving this by contradiction method. Remember, I have to prove an is equal to bn, but if it is not possible, let me assume it is not possible. In the sense, those two values are not equal, I have assumed. Fine. Now I am proving that whatever I have assumed is false, so that stating that it is unique expression. Fine. Now what I did is I have shifted this value for particular small n. Fine. Now clearly length of any interval an is not equal to bn. Why? Because I have assumed an is not equal to bn. That implies an minus bn will be equal to 2. Why? Because an minus bn is 0 minus 2. Length of this interval is 2. Fine. Now what I am going to do is, let me rewrite this expression as, I'll write 0 here. N is equal to 1 I have. So I'm going to write, here I have, n is equal to 1 I have assumed, right? or else I can try it for n number. For first value I have assumed. So instead of that, let me take n is equal to n. I am proving it for all the numbers n. All whatever the values comes in between 0 and 1, I have assumed that as capital N. This is what I have. Now I am substituting n is equal to n. First value I am going to put here, so that I have obtained an minus bn divided by 3 power of n. N is equal to n. So suppose if I have something like n is equal to 1 to infinity. When you substitute n is equal to 1 in the summation value, next value will be n is equal to 2 to infinity, right? Next value to the 1 I am going to use. In the same way, I have substituted n is equal to n. So I can write the next value as n is equal to n plus 1 to infinity. Why? Because first value I have already assigned. So it starts with the next value given by n plus 1. Fine. Now let me write this expression as it is. Right? Is equal to 0 I have already written. Fine. Now I can take 3 power of n common. In both the expression, I'll take 3 power, even though we don't have 3 power of capital N here, let me take the common. So when you do that, an minus bn, or else I'll keep the term as it is. In the next step, I'll do that. Bn I'll keep as it is. Now, summation n is equal to n plus 1 to infinity an minus bn divided by 3 power of n minus capital N I can write. Why? Because I don't have 3 power of n here. So I have to divide it with 3 power of n. So it goes to numerator. It will become n minus n. It is basic simplification you have to know. Now what I have assumed is capital An minus Bn is equal to 0. And remember, whereas for small n, it is always less than or equal to 2. It cannot go behind 2. Why? Because length of an interval is fixed to 2. Whereas for the first interval, it is obvious it is exactly equal. Whereas for the next number, it will be either less or equal. I have already told you in the case of what we say 1 by 3, 0 and 1 by 3. For 1 by 3, it is equal to 0.022 in ternary expansion. Fine. So at that particular peak point, it is equal. In the sense, in the first value, it is exactly equal to length of the interval. For the next preceding intervals, it is less than or equal to 2. Now, I am using these two expression in this one. So, an minus bn is, I can replace it with 2. Fine. Plus, since I have an minus small n, I have an minus bn, it is less than or equal to. So, I can clearly write less than or equal to here. Less than or equal to an minus bn divided by 3 power of n minus n. Clear? Now, what I am going to do is, I cannot remove summation right now, right? I have equals here. I'll do it in one more step. 0. Now, what I'm doing is an minus bn. I have to use this expression. What is the expression I have? I write once again. an minus bn is less than or equal to 2. Now, you are familiar with linear inequalities. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'll multiply it with minus sign. So, when you multiply it with minus sign, you will get reverse inequality. And again, since you have magnitude inside, so let me take minus inside. I can write like this. Fine. So, magnitude I have. So, let me take positive sign for this. Fine. I can rewrite like this. Now, I am going to use this expression in this one. So, what I have obtained is 0 is greater than or equal to 1 by 3 power of n. 2 plus an minus bn is greater than or equal to. So, that is why I have changed equals into greater than or equal to minus 2 divided by 3 power of, I can say k. Let me take n minus n as k. Fine. What I have assumed is n minus n as k. One of the variable k. Fine. Let n minus n is equal to k. I have substituted here. Hope so it is clear. I am repeating once again. What I did is an minus bn is 2. I have substituted in this step. Now in the next step, an minus bn is less than or equal to 2. I have modified in such a way that I have multiplied it with minus sign on both sides. So when you multiply it with minus, inequality get reversed. So less than or equal to becomes greater than or equal to. Since you have magnitude sign, it doesn't affect the sign. So I have written something like this. So I have replaced this with -2 and equal sign changes with greater than or equal to. Clear? Now I can take 2 common. Fine. So what I obtained is 1 minus 1 by 3 power of k. Fine. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to write summation, right? So when I changed n minus n to k, I have represented n minus n with k. Then I can replace small n with, so extract the value of small n with k plus n. Fine. So I'm replacing it in summation values. Small n will become k plus n is equal to 1 to infinity. See here, what I have done is, let me write here once again. I have summation value n as n plus 1 to infinity. What I have done is I have replaced n minus n with k. So I can write n as n plus k. So when I write n as capital N plus k, I can write n replaced with n plus k, right? So n and n get cancelled. Summation will become k is equal to 1 to infinity. So I can directly write this as k is equal to 1 to infinity. Sorry. Summation k is equal to 1 to infinity. Fine. So this is what I have. Now let me rewrite this expression once again. What I have obtained is 0 is greater than or equal to 2 by 3 power of n into 1 minus summation k is equal to 1 to infinity 1 by 3 power of k. This is what I have. Fine. Now this expression I'll simplify it separately. So when you give k is equal to 1, you will get 1 by 3. When you give k is equal to 2, 1 by 3 square, 1 by 3 cube. Fine. So 1 by 3, when you're going to take common, you will get 1 by 1 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 square, so on. So this is of the form 1 minus x power of minus 1. Formula is 1 plus 1 by x plus 1 by x square and so on. So similarly, how can I write this as 1 minus 1 by 3 power of minus 1? I am simplifying this whole summation value. Fine. So or else I can write this expression as 1 divided by 1 minus 3. So this will become 1 minus 3 minus 1 by 3. So all this simplification will not be in your notes. I am just explaining for your reference. So 3 minus 2 is 2. So 3 get cancelled. You will get 1 by 2 here. So I'll replace directly here. So 1 as it is minus the summation value will become 1 by 2. Clear? Now 0 is greater than or equal to 2 power of 3 by n. 1 minus 1 by 2 is 1 by 2. 2 get cancelled. 0 is greater than or equal to 3 power of n. Now you can clearly see whatever may be the value of n, since n value starting with 1, when you're going to give it, either if it is 0 also it is contradiction, right? Why? Because when you give n is equal to 0, it will become 1. Anything value to the power is 1. 0 is 1. So 1 by 1 is 1. 0 cannot be greater than or equal to 1. Fine. So when you give n is equal to 1, 1 by 3 is 0.333. So 0 is greater than or equal to 0.333. Again it is contradiction, right? So it is contradiction to our assumption that an is not equal to bn. Meaning is that an should be equal to bn. That is, we have a unique expression 3 power of n. Since the concept looks somewhat abstract, I am just trying to recollect all the concepts that whatever I have explained now. Please listen carefully. Cantor ternary set in the sense, ternary meaning is we have to divide the interval into 3 parts, 0, 1, 2. So that is what I have done. Now we have to remove the middle post open interval. So when you do that, remember we are going to take intersection of all the closed interval to get Cantor ternary set. So in between the intervals, we are not going to get a peak value 1. That is middle value 1. So an can take a value 0 and 2 only. And one more key point is that in ternary system 1 by 3 is 0.022. You just remember this. If you want in detail I can explain, but it is not in your syllabus. Fine. In ternary system we can write this as 0.022. And you are not going to get 1 in between any of this closed interval. And for any decimal number we can represent it in decimal number, or else I can say it is decimal number. We can express this into decimal number of system something like this. That is an by 10 power of n. But this expression is not unique, as we observed length of all the intervals. Each interval in Cantor-Ternary set is 1 by 3. So we can express the decimal number with reference to Cantor-Ternary set. And it is given by an by 3 power of n. And an can take value 0 and 2. Why? Because 1 will not be there in the Cantor-Ternary set. Fine. Now we have to prove that this expression of representing decimal number is unique. Fine. Now I am going to prove that x is equal to an by 3 power of n is unique, where an can take value 0 and 2. Now I am going to prove this by contradiction method. In order to prove contradiction, let me assume one more expression. Instead of an, I have taken bn. So unique meaning is an should be equal to bn. Now since I am proving it by contradiction method, so let me assume that an is not equal to bn. If that was the case, I can subtract. I have shifted this value, so I have obtained this step. Fine. So if that was the case, capital N, here suffix values ranging from capital N to infinity. Why? Because n I have already chosen for the suffix value. So in order to avoid confusion, I have chosen capital N here. Fine. So this represents for the first particular interval, the length is 2. Why? Because 0 minus 2 is 2. And rest of the interval, it is something like, suppose if you are going to take some particular interval, in between it is less than, at the peak it will be equal. So this is something like that. This value capital N represented peak most value. Peak most value it may be equal. For rest of the values it may be less than or equal. So this is what the condition I have. Now what I have done is, since n value ranging from capital N, so I have substituted n is equal to capital N here for the first term. Next term will be followed by n plus 1. Something like, if the summation value I is equal to 1 to infinity, if you substitute I is equal to 1, you will write first term here. Next summation should start from I is equal to 2. So this concept I have used here. Fine. Now what I did is, I have taken 1 by 3 power of n common. Since you don't have 3 power of n is capital N here, so I have to divide it with 3 power of capital N. So when you shift it, you will get 3 power of small n minus capital N. Clear? Now I have used this expression capital N minus Bn is 2. I have substituted here. Till now I have not used any concept here. I am just going to manipulate this expression. See here, I have written the same expression here. What I did is, I have multiplied minus on both sides in order to reverse the inequality. Fine. So I have next step. Since I have equals here, next step I have replaced it with this expression. So it is greater than or equal to minus 2 times, since plus become minus here. So 2 by 3 power of k, 2 have taken common. So you get 1 here. So the minute when I change the suffix here, what I have done is n minus n with k. I have replaced n minus n. I have written here, see here, n minus n with k. So if you do that, small n will be capital N plus k. So I have to change the summation value simultaneously. N value is n plus k. So when you substitute, it will get cancelled. So summation changing from k is equal to 1 to infinity. Fine. So I have obtained k is equal to 1 to infinity, 1 by 3 power of k. Now I have a standard expression for that term, 1 by 3 power of k. After expanding, you will get the value as 1 by 2. I have substituted. So after simplification, I have obtained this expression. 0 is greater than or equal to 1 by 3 power of n. But remember, whatever may be the value of n, it cannot be greater than or equal to 0 cannot be greater than or equal to this particular number. So this is contradiction to our assumption that an is not equal to bn. Therefore, what we assumed is wrong. Therefore, an should be equal to bn. In the sense, an expression x is equal to an by 3 power of n is unique expression with reference to Cantor-Ternary set. Hope it is clear. So when you see the video, you may feel fast. Why? Because due to shortage of memory, I have done little bit fast. You just slow down the, set the speed of a video so that you can understand clearly. If not, please go through the video once or twice. Definitely you will understand, and please practice the same. Thank you. And the theorems based on Cantor-Ternary set will be continued in the next session. And notes of this same theorem will be posted in the group. Please copy the same. See you in the next class.